Hey, welcome back to another special edition of Tuesday night of the Notebook with the hockey coach Francis directly for beautiful country at Cayden on amazing, great Tuesday, November 12th, 2024. And we're going to talk about the Montreal Canadiens and a little bit, couple news about the NHL. Be ready because the house is full of the co-hosts tonight. We have a news to announce who's going to be there with us next week. The reason we do the notebook the Tuesday, not the Wednesday, because I do more the game play-by-play, the Laval Rocket, and tomorrow Laval Rocket play against the Rochester, and they play Friday against the Syracuse. Two games I'm going to do the play-by-play, so follow us here at the Hockey Nation and the Ab Nation to follow the Laval Rocket. And tonight we're going to talk about we need to fix things in Montreal. We need to figure out what we need to do for the Montreal Canadiens, or what are the biggest, problem for the Montreal Canadiens. And the big problem is about Cayden Primeau. And Cayden Primeau is something, very difficult beginning of the season with the Montreal Canadiens. So what we need to do with Cayden Primeau, not much maybe. And I did a video today. Use must act. And you can watch this video on the channel. So this is what we do every single day. We provide you some information, some contents about the Montreal Canadiens. But a notebook without him and without the under him, it will not be fun. That's the reason they are back tonight after we saw them Sunday night. So they are in the green room, ready to rock and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, let's further ado to welcome back Marko and Mr. Enartap are back in the house.
Good evening, Coach Marko, Hockey Nation. How's everyone doing? Better now that a win is in our win column moving forward?
It doesn't hurt, right? It definitely felt good, man, to see that one come through. A little spine-tingling kind of game, too. A little definitely keep you on your toes kind of game. But it was fun, a little stressful, but fun. But no, it's good, man. It's Tuesday. I'm still on vacation, so it's all good, man. I'm looking forward. I'm watching the Leafs and the Sens kind of on the side here as we're going on. So it's going to be a fun night. Can't wait to connect with all of our fun people.
7-game in NHL tonight in action already. Devils 1-0 against the Florida Panthers. Spencer Knight is between the pipe for the Florida Panthers. The Jets take the lead now, 3-2. Really entertaining game. We've had a chance to watch in that game. 3-2 now for the Jets. The Jets lead 3 times so far. Kyle Connor's score is 10 goal of the year. Alexis Lafreniere's score is 6 of the season. Villardi with 7 of the season. And then the Ottawa guys, this is a team, guys, it's just difficult. They can give you play like a Stanley Cup winner team, and then the next night they looking like the worst in the NHL. Now they lead the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-0 without for Austin Matthews missing his 4 game. And
Patrick. No Patch ready.
And then Bruins 0 and the Blues 0 tonight. Then a little bit later, the Islanders play the Oilers. The Flames play the Vancouver Canucks. Flame, chin, 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 chin. More points, please. More points. This will be the dream of the Montreal Canadiens fans. If Montreal finish at the bottom 5, and then the Flame finish at number 11.
Perfect.
Do you think, Marko and Artap, if you're the Flame, Greg Conroy, don't be stupid. Don't thinking the team does not thinking sometimes the wrong things, right? But they cannot tell this to the people. But, when the Toronto Maple Leafs want to get Austin Matthews, I know because he told me, the Toronto tried to do everything to finish at the bottom. So if the Calgary Flame, they said, wait a minute, we cannot finish 11, 12. We have to finish at the bottom 10 to get a better pick. So do you think there will be, not benefit, but do you think that the Flame will act that way? Or they will say, no, for the benefit of for the benefit of the team. Now, the player does not think that way, of course. But do you think that they will do something to drop at the bottom 10? Marko?
It doesn't look that way, Coach. All indications that I'm hearing, and I think there was an interview with Craig Conroy just recently that I think Karine Haynes had an article about this, that they're comparing it like a retool. right? Like not a rebuild. So like I've mentioned this a couple times. You have Huberdeau, you've got Kadri, you've got Uyghur and Anderson, and so I don't think they're tearing it down. I think I think they it's tough for them to make moves, right? Because they don't have a lot of assets, but they're looking to add coach. They're not going to kind of trade other picks or anything like that, but I think they're looking to get better. I don't think they're looking to strip it down.
And either way, don't they lose the pick whether they finish bottom 10 or if it's bottom 10 it goes to Florida.
They have two picks, right? So they have they have like a Florida pick, and then they have their own pick. So really they're going to have one pick. It's just which one they're going to lose, right? So
exactly.
Yeah,
and I agree. Like, I mean, the other thing, I mean, you never aim to tank. I mean, that's not something you ever admit to your fan base. I mean, there's obviously things that you could do around the trade deadline time that could put you in a favorable position for that, but I don't think the players don't aim to do that. And then you look at guys that came, I don't want to say they came out of nowhere because obviously they're blue chippers, but you look at the work that Wolf has put in, and you look at Coronado and what he's been doing, and and some of their frontliners like Huberdeau's had a better year this year as well. So I don't think they maybe anticipated it to be that good, but here they are, and hopefully they'll stay 11th from the bottom.
Well, Coach, and this is we talked just before we get off on the Calgary Flames. That we've been having this debate, like, oh, Montreal just doesn't have enough talent. Well, the Calgary Flames are a great example of if a team plays the right way and they play hard every game, they can be in the mix. Just saying.
Great to hear that. PLW is in the house. He's go with Patterson and Fantelli tonight. I don't know if he do like two different split or he put both together to make more chin-chin.
I know nothing about betting. Nothing.
And after, do you think he put the both together on the same slip, or he does?
No, I think he put them separate, but I'm sure PLW will tell us.
David is in the house. Welcome back, David. Thanks for being us. Slicky, number 14. Glad to see you, man. Slicky, talk about some things going on. Cannot read everything right now, but we'll pay attention a bit later. Slicky. RDP, back in the house. Roy, welcome back. I think Buffalo Montreal would like maybe to get Askarov, but that's a subject a bit later. Abination is in the house tonight. Roy from Bangkok. Randy Walkman back in the house. Welcome back, Randy. Hopefully you're doing well at PLW. I bet my mentor to score 20 goals this year is on a gone at PLW. Yeah, you can get that one over there. Mark Elliott, welcome back. Moderator run with 20. Gary, welcome, Gary. Hopefully you're doing well. Long time we not see you, my friend Gary. And then we have Luc Fortin de retour avec nous ce soir. Luc. Top 5, Claude Richard. Tony Lemarque. Etu. Jimmy Jack. Like that name. Mike Hunt. Marko. Question Montreal Expose. Who was the second base with Mose get hit the most of times on the first two seasons with the Montreal Canadiens and Montreal Expose. Second base, number 33. His last name was Hunt. Who was his first name?
What was Jesse Barfield's batting average in 1989?
There we go. And after?
It was 302.
There you go.
What was the first name? Who was the first name of Hunt?
I don't know. I'll take a wild guess.
It was Ron Hunt. Remember Ron Hunt?
Ron Hunt. No, I don't actually.
There we go. I know my baseball. Willie Snyder back in the house. Willie still on the WWE on the rookie cast. In case something happened, a split. PLW said about that one. Tony Radin is back in the house. And when we talk about Tony Radin, we think about who in our top?
Jeff Reardon.
A2 said Ron, PLW said Ron, and Randy Walkman said Ron. You guys, you know our baseball. Thanks to be with us. We appreciate it. We start the show, guys, usually very quickly before we go to the headlines. If you don't mind, we'll wait a little bit more people pop up. If you don't mind, Marko in our tap. Thanks, everybody. Don't forget, please, to click on the likes. The NHL waiver, Anaheim, James Reimer, and the Canadiens sent the defenseman Roddy Sitman. So I have a question for you, Marco. Do you think Montreal should get James Reimer or not?
Well, you look at his. I did look at his kind of stats over the last couple of years. He's usually over, like a 905, 910 save percentage guy. But this year, I think he's like at 870 or something like that. I'm not sure. Like I would look at other options. He wouldn't be my first choice.
Okay.
But it's the
We'll talk more about the next thing after that later. So.
Yeah, he wouldn't be my first choice.
Perfect.
Father Time is cut up.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, perfect. I just said Father Time is caught up with him. I think he's towards the end.
Injury, guys. The Ducks. That's Fowler, Fabry on the ER, and then McDavid is day to day. Is a team with now the Gibson that's not doing well. Another team with the Montreal are at the bottom. NHL, they have Zegras have what? 1 goal, 2 goals. This is not looking good, by the way. This is a team struggling, also like the Montreal, another team at the bottom. Finally, the last news, NHL happening a couple hours ago, is back with the Capitals. Last Eller got a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick. I think the GM of the Washington Capitals tried to make that team to have a better year, and they go all the way. Will be a great story if Washington, make the playoff, and then they maybe win the first round, because Washington last year they went to the playoff with them last like minus 37. Goal differential was the worst in the NHL for the East, really, and they patched up a lot this year. And they lost guys, two key players, right? They lost Backstrom and Oshie, and they flipped very well, very quickly, and looked like the trade for Pierre Dubois turned around to be good for them. And a couple of players joined the team, and they reset also the defenseman side guys in 2 years. This is something for remember a couple of years like Jensen, Schultz, is only Carlson and TVR are original the last couple of years with that team. The rest is all new defensemen coming left and right. The Ramis Sandin, I think Toronto would love to get back at Ramis Sandin, honestly. So congratulations, Capitals, about that.
Pittsburgh fans must be looking at this Washington reload on the fly with lots of jealousy, right? Like Kyle Dubas. If I'm Pittsburgh management, I'm looking over at Washington and asking Mr. Dubas, why weren't you able to build a roster similar to that to support our aging core of superstars?
But maybe we are starting to see them slowly taking it apart now. The message has gone through loud and clear. And remember, at the beginning of the summer, it took a while to get that Crosby contract materialized, and then we said, oh, it was very team friendly. But if you stop to think about it, maybe it's also very Crosby friendly, because it allows him, if things really go off the rails, for him to probably be traded, because he's got a very competitive edge to him, and he may want to go for one more cup before he retires. So it's an easy contract to trade with some competitive team come trade deadline time. So we'll wait and see.
And to ask this question to you, personally, I will call Tobesh up to the Habs and add someone new to the Laval if Primeau does not clear the waiver. My question is to the Habs, add a new goalie at Montreal or Laval?
I don't think you do it. Like there's a lot of people calling for that, but I think it's really important you just leave Dobesh in the AHL, get him like a full season to play lots of games. Like I said, like you mentioned it the other day, Coach, like he's got good wins, like he's played pretty well. But overall, if you really look at how he's playing, he has, like, I think he's not playing as well as he did at the end of last year. No. Kind of swimming around a little bit, is out of position. For me, like, just leave him down there. Everybody, like, I'm sure we'll talk about Hughes and kind of other options that Montreal has, but no, I'm not making that move at all, unless it's an absolute emergency where you, like, unless Dobesh is going to start games, but you really want him sitting on the bench,
Well, I think for a couple of games, Marco, if you need something happening, like an injury, something like that, you patch up, right? Yeah. But he does not have a good year so far. Like, it's not true. He does not perform like he was performing at the end of the year last season. But again, he was hurt with injury. I'm not worried about Tobesh at all. It's just Connor Hughes have an excellent season so far since the beginning
and
of the season.
That's what I would explore more, Coach. If anything, if you bring up Hughes, even if it's just for a handful of games, sometimes just to show that they're addressing the issue a little bit and see how he does, and then just send him back down to Laval. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, but I would keep him, Tobesh, more time in Laval would be more benefit for him.
Yes,
for one more year and to be, goaltender number one. I think would be good about that. So the Florida Panthers tied the game on power play, guys. 1-1 goal. They used Balinski. I don't know what tip. Yeah, some Reynard tipped the puck, guys. And score is 12 of the season. Join Cole Caulfield on that one. Thanks everybody to be a part of the show. Luciano come in the house now with Larry Lavallée. Dan Asham is in the house. And then I have one more before we move on. Is Abination and Curtis. Curtis, welcome back, all of you. Don't forget, please, to click on the like. And Marco and our tap, it's time to do what?
Headline.
Here we go. That's what we got right now. Like we do the same routine. We start with Marco, then followed by our tap, and then followed by me. Why we do that? Because Marco is smarter at us, me and our tap. And our tap is the longest headline we never see in the history of the hockey. And then we have me to do this very quickly because in our tap take all the time.
It's the only chance I get to
myself. So that's the reason behind that. Marco.
So before I get into my headline, funny story. I accidentally sent my headline to my boss via text instead of sending it to Coach with this picture. She was so confused about what the hell I was talking about. She's like, do you need to talk about something? I thought you were on vacation. I'm like, whoops, sorry. But yeah, my headline.
Marco, was it because they have Bell written on their helmet that happened?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So weird.
You're lucky, Marco. You didn't send like something like "I have enough," like not like the boy. You send yourself like "I have enough."
Yeah. I've had enough. Yeah, I think maybe she thought like maybe I was saying that my team has had enough, like my
employees that's my point behind that.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's all good. I still have a job, I think. Anyway, so the boys had enough. So this is something that St. Louis pointed out in the press conference that I thought was interesting after the win against Buffalo, and it it kind of showed, right? Like Montreal went through a lot of adversity in that win. Right, like they had lots of leads kind of disappear because of, really honestly, like at some point what the shot, they had only allowed like 12, 13 shots and there's like 4 goals against. So that's very emotionally draining, right? Especially when you've already lost 6 in a row. And what I'd like to hear is...
Wait a minute, Marco. Wait a minute, guys. Wow, this is the fight of the last 25 years in NHL between Kravjovic and Dylan. I'm telling you right now, we have to see the replay tonight. They punch a minimum of 75 to 100 punch between both of them for about 2 minutes, and without until Dylan fall at the end of that to finish that. And during that time, Kravjovic, his jersey was over his head. He didn't see anything. It was a punch bag for both side guys. This is a fight to watch if you have a chance. I apologize, Marco, but this was unbelievable fight, guys.
Breaking news.
There's going to be on the news everywhere, guys. This was one of the biggest fights. It's rare they have a fight like that in the last 20 years in the NHL.
Wow. Well, that new NHL player committee on CTE might watch it as well. We'll see. I'll have to.
I guess those two boys had enough as well, Marco.
Yeah, the boys had enough. They decide to have it's like Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Looking forward to that on Netflix. I think that's coming up soon as well. So yeah, no, I like to see this, right? Like Saint Louis, he could tell that the guys, they just had enough, right? And I guess the question is, why didn't they have enough 4 games ago? Like if they can just kind of switch, turn on the switch and say, you know what, we're sick of losing. And you could see Suzuki, right? Like he definitely took his game up another notch. If you're Suzuki, we all know that he's from Toronto. Having the team play so badly in Toronto. If you guys watch any Toronto media, about hockey over the last couple of days, you know, they just are crushing how bad Montreal is right now. And say what you will, players watch that stuff, right? So I'm sure Suzuki and everybody, at this stage, they're like, guys, we need to put this together, and it was needed. They definitely needed to muster up all of the energy that they had to, because again, it was a win with a lot of ups and downs. And so, sometimes I guess the coach can tell, right? Like the coach can tell that the guys just had enough, and no matter what it was going to take, they were going to kind of make it happen that night. So, what we can hope for here, guys, is that let's see if they can maintain that level of desperation, right? And be able to try to stay focused, try to stay hungry, try to stay proactive in that feeling, because Suzuki put a lot. We talked about this, I think, over the last couple of shows, but Suzuki put a lot on the line, right, this summer. Like he was very vocal about how he thought this team was going to be competitive. So it must be pretty embarrassing for him to in terms of how the season has started. Even though, again, like his points are a bit misleading in terms of what he's actually, how he's actually performing. So guys, I'm glad they had enough. I think we had enough as well. It was a sorely needed win. Sometimes it's one of those rare times where the result is more important than how you win. They just needed to get that win. So let's hope they can kind of ride this a little bit and keep that level of desperation. So I thought that was interesting.
Great.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think, Marco, the word is intensity. That's what we saw in that game. I mean, there were still some problems, I think, that they have to obviously work at to correct. It seemed like one of the things was, as soon as they scored, it seems like Buffalo responded fairly quickly, almost after each goal. But they didn't cave in, so that's the positive sign, and the intensity was there, and hopefully they got that monkey off their back.
But do you think it was goaltending though, Enertap? Like I know Montreal
Yeah,
does have that reputation. Like I think yes, there were some breakdowns, but they needed to get some saves, right? It must have been
yeah, of
very difficult
course,
for you guys to be on the bench.
100%, and I'm glad that he didn't waste too much time, Martin St. Louis, to yank Primo. I think in the past he sort of has hesitated on a couple of occasions, whether it's been him or Monty, until it's too late. And this time he pulled him out at the right time, I believe, and he knew that they couldn't go down that rabbit hole.
Marco, who is between the pipe for Toronto? I'm not watching the game.
It's
Solars or
yeah. So I'm losing
35
points.
shot after 2 periods for Ottawa.
Yeah, Ottawa is killing it right now, Coach. They are all over them. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome, Marco. And now in our
And yes, and so I called it. Is it prime time? And specifically referring to Lane Hudson. And I know the sample size is small. He hasn't been here that long, but I think once you reference things like the eye test and you look at the analytics, I mean, this guy is the real deal. Um, and you know what the crazy thing is he's not really playing amazing according to his own standards. Like the one thing you can say about Hudson is this guy works and works hard, and he puts the ethic before success, and he realizes that you have to work hard before success. As a matter of fact, the only place you're going to see the word success before work is in the dictionary. So I'm glad that Hudson is of that mindset, and hopefully it sort of trickles down to the rest of the players when they see that a young kid like him is not just doing the things he's doing. But even away from the play, he seems to be really trying to harness his game a little bit more. And he's really dynamic. I think he's an intelligent puck carrier, as we've seen. He knows exactly sort of how to beat a player. Whether it's with an inside out move, or it's a pump fake, or a look off pass, give and go. Sometimes he's done that a handful of times. Anything that really involves the puck, he's really been showing brilliance. And I think there was a stretch of games, 3 or 4 games, where people weren't seeing the points coming up, but if you look closely, what you did notice is the fact that he was working on aspects of his game, and he improved on them. For example, when to take that chance, and when to sort of go back and make sure that he doesn't get beat. And there were a couple of occasions where he did get beat, especially defensively. Like his pivot work has to improve a little bit more, but I think he's taking strides to improving that. And I think I'm starting to see he's pulling off some very good defensive plays as well. So that's the positive thing moving forward with Primo, or sorry, with Hudson in this case. And if you look at when he was taken, Coach, if back in the Slavkovsky year, he was selected as well. If you have that graphic, just analytic wise, the draft class of that year, you'll see that he right now, in terms of rookies, he ranks third in points, just behind Stankoven, who has more experience at it based on last year's work, and also Michkov, who's just I think a point better than him. Do you have that graphic, Coach?
Yep.
Yeah. Just to compare him with the other players of that class. And you'll see that right now, obviously, Slavkovsky ranks number 1 at 71. But look at where Hudson is, and look at where he was selected. Second round, number 62 overall. And he's right now ranking 6th or 7th overall from that class of athletes. And there's some really good names there that I'm sure with time will also improve their stats. But Wayne Gretzky once said, a good hockey player plays where the puck is, but a great hockey player plays where the puck is going to go. And he has that kind of vision. And all I want to say in terms of prime time is specifically towards the power play. And I think even though it hasn't been a lot of games, I think it's time that change of guards happens between him and Matheson on the first power play unit, because you can see the power play is much more dynamic and keeps the defense really on their toes, because you don't know exactly what he's going to do. And I can only imagine even next year when he's got options like, let's say, Laine and Demidov on the wings. Like, it'll be really lethal. So is he ready for prime time? Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, hey, Coach, can you put that graphic back up for a second? Yeah. I have a question for you guys. In this draft, if you're doing a redraft, does Hudson go top 10?
Yep.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
I said today somewhere, I don't know where, I think it was on the Twitter, where I said, this is going to be the robbery of that NHL draft 2022. I no doubt in my mind, Marko, he's going to be maybe the best defenseman of all of them at the end.
Yeah, we'll see. Like Mintyukov,
and there's some good, and
Mintyukov
there's some good defensemen there.
Yeah, like it's still early, right? But yeah, like we should revisit this, like where he would be in a redraft for sure. That's very interesting.
It's fun to do that. That's an exercise, and we should do it more often. By the way.
Yeah.
By the way. Did you earlier in your headline? Did you say something like success only comes before work in the dictionary? Did you make that up? Is that one?
No,
did you make that?
No. I forget who said that once. I heard it many years ago, and it never evaded. It never slipped my mind.
Yeah, I've never heard that one before. That's a really good one. Coach, you should
Yeah.
make that like instead of like you have greatness inside you, every 10 times you should say success only becomes before work only in the dictionary. You could try that one. It's a good one.
Yeah, maybe I should go that one. Let people talk about the chat about Leonard Hudson. Jerry is in the house. Welcome back, Jerry. Glad to see you, my friend. Ozzy Calabro knocked the door. We have also Luc Fortin earlier. He's back. Bob Smith knocked the door with us. James, welcome back, James. And Jim, I believe, and Joseph. All of you guys, don't forget, please, to click on like. We appreciate a lot. And mine will be very quickly, guys. Is about stick with the plan. And I think you can see the reaction of Ken Hughes again today during the is that a press conference or is it like
They're at the GM meetings, right? So
yeah,
I think
he
RDS got an
answered the
interview.
question like Renaud Lavoie and
Yeah.
Luc
Well
Julina,
shaven.
everything like that. So he's sick with the plan. So during that storm, or we said that a storm, is maybe if you look about is how he process everything, like everything or every time Marko and Artap, the fans or the media claim something, right? They expect this, they want this, or they're looking for. Can you change everything? Like he does not follow what he heard. I mean, nothing changed how he think about the Montreal Canadiens. And he stick with the plan. The plan at the beginning was Joran Sakoski. People want Shea Wright. He stick with his plan. I'll go do that. Everybody want Mitch Cobb. He went with Rayback, or we don't know yet what will be the outcome of that. And that's what he's sick went out with that storm. People, chin this, chin that, move this one, go with the trade. He's still with the plan. Not said he's not going to make a trade, of course, but he's right now let this plan move on forward, and they really believe at what they expect in the next couple of years. And I don't know if you agree with me, but I think that's what can use is on now. They just take the lead 4-3, but we have now a 4-3 goal a game now. Kaku scored his second goal of this season before Mark Sheffley at lead. So this is a game really fun game to watch. This could be two teams going to be deep in the playoff. And I'm watching the Predator Panthers and Devils, guys. This could be the the final Eastern Conference.
Really, really good matchups tonight. Like I should have recorded some of these games so I can go back and watch them later, to be honest.
Yeah.
But Coach, I think you're right. Like, I don't think Ken Hughes is gonna, and first of all, like even let's say Montreal is feeling a bit desperate and a little bit under pressure. Of course, Ken Hughes is going to come out and say, "Well, listen, we're not in a rush to do anything. We're not going to go away from our plan." Like you have to kind of position yourself out in the public, to kind of, because again, like nobody's going to help you, give you, make you favors in the NHL, right? So everybody, is watching all the other teams, and they know exactly what position that they're in. And I think, like I mentioned, especially if you lose big like that in Toronto, guys, every team that goes through Toronto and loses big, they're gonna feel a lot of pressure because the Toronto media is gonna kind of come down on you really, really hard. They're gonna dissect everything that that's gone wrong with your team. And like if you look at a lot of the things that are being said, like Coach, I don't know if we're covering that tonight, but some pundits in Toronto talking about sending Hudson down to Laval. Some of them are like this rebuild is it's taken so long, and like you can see they don't watch the games. They don't really they just kind of try to kind of make generalized statements about kind of what's going on. So I'm sure that Ken Hughes and Jeff Gordon are felt a lot more pressure after that Toronto game in particular because of the accentuated pressure that you get from all that media coverage. But I don't think they're smart. They're not going to do something stupid just to do that. That being said, I still think they need to do something, especially for the goaltending, and I think that's what this whole episode is about. Right?
Yeah, I think if the opportunity presents itself to do something, minor that's not going to really cost you or take you off your path of where you're headed, he'll definitely jump at that. But overall, I've said it before, impatience is the killer of a rebuild. So you have to stay the course and believe in what you're planning to do. And I agree with you, Coach. I think stay the path. Let it unfold as it should.
Timo Meyer score 7 of the season, take the lead 2-1 again. Spencer Knight and the Fleur Panthers on that one. Roger Delaney knocked the door. Welcome back, Roger. And Roy said, good evening. No, sorry, guys. Which Montreal Canadiens asset are tradable or attractive for trade? I think, Marco, you can answer. Which one do you think they were not going to trade? I think it will be the easy, if that other path. If you think about that one from Roy, he would like to see who could attract a trade if they accomplish a trade.
So his question, or I think Roy's question, is which assets are tradable?
Yeah.
Yeah. So while there's a lot of tradable assets for sure, like I'd say the key thing that Montreal has in terms of assets that they want to trade or that are on the market are left-handed young defensemen and draft picks at this point, guys. They have too many draft picks, in my opinion. We've talked about this. They've already drafted more than any other team in the last 3-4 years. It's insane the amount of draft picks that they've collected. And I was very surprised even last year that they didn't trade any picks last year. Like they did trade, they did move up, right? But they have a lot of picks to make. So I think for me, like those are the biggest assets that they have is futures still, so young defensemen, and draft picks. That's, I think, the biggest assets that they have to move. So you have to find the right partner though that's looking for futures if you're looking to do that, right? So usually the profile of that, it's going to be a team that thought maybe that they were going to be competing and they decide to go a different direction and try to reload with some picks or something like that. But it's way too early in the season at this point, especially with the parity in the NHL. There's not too many teams that think they're out of anything yet. And certainly teams that thought that they were going to be in contention haven't given up quite yet. So I think those are the kind of profiles of teams that you're looking for. And to on your point, Tap, about sticking to the plan and being patient, the plan is, still can include making trades. It doesn't, like,
Of course.
by staying patient doesn't mean like only draft and develop, right? Like we were debating
Agreed.
in the chat yesterday. We had this huge debate about this in the chat all night last night, during Coach's show. So roster construction happens a lot of different ways, right? So at some point, like, whenever the opportunity comes up where they're like, when he says we're going to stick to the plan, it doesn't mean that he's not prepared to trade futures. I think he is prepared to trade futures, but it's got to be for a player that's in the long term, kind of plan that's going to complement the team right away in a way that makes sense. That's not going to disrupt everything else, right? So to me, Roy, great question. I think the biggest assets they have, generally, I would call them futures, which means it's young players, trade, and draft picks. So left-handed defenseman, we know, is where they're the most deep. So that's where I think they would be looking to move things.
Great point about that. At the end of the day, it was just about the during the storm, right? He doesn't want to make any push or further. Like a lot of fans request, like to put the rebuild quicker or faster, or whatever you want to use it. So I think for me, that's the reason.
Well, that's the panic, right? That's the panic that we're hearing at the time of this happening. And so everybody obviously is going to have an opinion in terms of what's the cause of the slump. And so they're going to offer, trade so and so and get rid of Martin St. Louis or whatever the case might be. But it's not, down the road, it's not the proper solution. I think I agree. It's you stay the course, and obviously when an opportunity presents itself where the trade makes sense for what you're trying to accomplish, you have to jump at it. There's no doubt about it. And that's why, and I'm going to throw this last thing both at you, Coach, and Marko. I know last year, and even during the summer, there was a lot of conversation back and forth. And I think, Marko, you and I agreed on it. If an opportunity comes up that somebody wants a trade for Matheson, you do it, in my eyes. I know that he offers that experience and you have a very young defense. I don't disagree with that. But we're starting to see it doesn't look like he's ever going to reproduce the kind of year that he had last year. So if anything, he's a bit of a diminishing asset that we're going to have over time. So why not get rid of him when he's at the peak of his performance and get something good, which then allows you maybe to bring Gooley over to the left side, and depending on what you get back in the deal, it could be a right-handed defenseman that's either a second or third pairing defenseman, but just helps to solidify the pairings, right? I mean that's one idea, but it's something that I think they should explore. Thoughts?
At the very least, like, so listen, I think people around the NHL with pro scouting nowadays, people know who Mike Matheson is, right? Like, it's remember we used to talk about this a lot when we talked about Mike Hoffman, right? Like, oh, they're showing Mike Hoffman, they're showcasing Mike Hoffman. Guys, you don't think the entire NHL knows who Mike Hoffman is? What
You don't show anybody anymore, Marko, with all
no, with all the pro scouting. So everybody knows who Mike Matheson is, right? So, really the only thing I think that can diminish someone is really like injury problems, like that can really kind of jeopardize somebody, or when they're getting a lot older and like maybe they can't play as many minutes. But I think Mike Matheson is the known commodity. So I don't think people, just because he scored 60 points last year, I don't think GMs around the league change their viewpoint on him. I think what makes Mike Matheson attractive is the amount of minutes that he can play. Like, I think we all agree that he plays way too many minutes, but a team looking for someone. Yeah. So like he can eat some minutes. He's a elite skater, great puck mover, but he if on a good team, the thing that's the most attractive about him is his cap hit. Like you can slot him in, you can justify playing him as a number 4 on a good team because he's only making 4.5, right? So a good team can move things around and easily fit Mike Matheson in their top 4. So I think even if you don't get a lot, how the expression, guys, addition by subtraction. Sometimes I'm not saying that Mike Matheson isn't available or isn't valuable, but to me, being able to let Gooley develop on the left side has its own set of value to it. So even if you don't get as much as you think you're going to get for Mike Matheson, just allowing Gooley to play and get reps on his left hand side might be worth it, in addition to what you're actually getting for him. It's in business, we call that opportunity loss cost, right? Like when you're not, it might not be like something that you see materially in terms of like a financial benefit or a revenue benefit, but there's another benefit that's not financial, right? So I think there's a lot of ways to look at this. For me, I'm not sure how much you can get back for Mike Matheson, but I would do it 100%. You gotta have Gooley play on the left side. I know Coach, he's talked about the leadership void that will leave, but I think you go get somebody else that can play on a bottom pair that brings leadership
on the right side,
or on, even if it's on the left, but you can bring
it'll
somebody
create
else
a bit of a if your plan is to put Gooley on the left side, then obviously you're going to need somebody coming back that's a righty to sort of level things off, and like I said earlier, make the pairings a little bit more equitable.
At the end, guys, it's like everybody else. Oh, not everybody won, but just Mike Matheson is used not properly the right way. That's the biggest problem he faces every single time. Because he should play about 18 minutes per game. He should be on the second pairing, and he should not be on the power play number 1. I can't go all the way like that. So, obviously, the circumstance of the Montreal Canadiens situation, that's the reason Mike Matheson is a target for the fans, because he's not used properly. It's a little bit like Alex Newhook. Alex Newhook should not be on the top 6, and that's the reason the top 6, the second line, does not produce for the Montreal Canadiens. A quick recap for the game yesterday, guys. For the game between Montreal and Buffalo, we talked last time myself, but I want to show to you a little bit what happening on that game and what it would be, what it was good for the Montreal Canadiens yesterday. You get 4 points for Zuski, 3 for Sakoski, Caulfield 2 goals, Dak 2 points, Anderson, Devorak, Hudson. It was a festival of the point. This for me is more like a moral game or a mindset game to win that game versus a perfect game because it was far to be a perfect game, honestly, overall. But the Montreal Canadiens led only Buffalo shot 18 times on the net. The power play scored 2 goals. Hudson was unbelievable yesterday again. Obviously, the second line guys was not great again yesterday. Whatever they put on the second line does not work. I don't know. It's a new hook, but it was new hook, Caulfield, AJ Kevin. AJ Kevin playing out on the second line. So if you let Jake Kevin play there,
Sure.
not going to work. It's not. It's going to be really, really difficult about that. So I think that's
Yeah,
something they need to figure out something.
well, we know that Jake Evans was working really well with Gallagher and Anderson. So,
Yeah.
that's a known commodity. Dvorak has looked pretty good between those two guys too. So really the only move, and again, even AT was just saying it again, everybody interprets this that I love Dvor. I'm a big Dvorak fan. But the only move that they haven't really tried for the second line is trying Dvorak there, right? So that Evans and Gallagher and Anderson worked for the early part of the season. So that's really the only move that they haven't tried so maybe you try Dvorak, Newhook, and Slavkovsky. Oh, sorry, who do they have there?
Yeah.
So they have
The
Caulfield.
Doc,
Sorry, yeah.
the
So it
Caulfield.
would be
Yeah.
Caulfield, Dvorak, and Newhook. Again, so at least you're trying something different. But like I'm not liking what I see with that Evans line at all so far either.
And after I want to add something.
No, I think that sums it up pretty good to get that monkey off their back. Let's hope they can maintain it now.
I just try to answer to Mark Elliott about the game. About that, it was not a perfect game for the coach. I think this is the kind of this is the kind of game the coach does not like, honestly, because the result of the game is not exactly what they preach or they're looking for. They prefer to have game only 2-3 goals per game, and that's it, right? But a 5 goal again was not good. And again, yesterday was not more about the last couple of games. More, I think the hybrid was pretty good yesterday. It's just about mistake. Example on the they show again the fight on the TV. They make a lot of mistake on the offensive side. Pinch by Mike Madison on 1 goal specific. A bad change, I believe, yesterday on at the second period. I believe Armia and someone else went to the bench directly, and that opened up Lane Hudson. And then I can go and then Primo did not help with a couple of save. Did not make a couple of save. Honestly, that would be the big problem. So it was just a quick about the game, and I would like to hear from all of you, all the three of you, what would be your stood out, your upscore at the office. At the office, we find out is Cayden Primeau, honestly. But the stood out players, Marko and Anartap, and Marko, we're going to start with this.
Yeah, and one last thing before we go on that is, how many high scoring danger chances did they have or give last night? Like not more than 5. Like I think going to the third period is
Much
under.
better.
It was like around 2, right? So, and most of them were caused directly from like those really terrible mistakes, like Matheson going on the right side as Gouli and all that. So for me, stood out. It's hard, right? Because there's so many good performances. So for me, the one I'll choose the stood out for the one that had the biggest improvement, like that went from a little bit invisible to really, really standing out. I'm going to say Slavkovsky. So those plays like winning, especially that one period of time where he had 2 assists on the Suzuki goals to end the second period to put Montreal ahead. And then that really, really nice pass on the power play to Caulfield for the winning goal. To me, that he really stood out because that's kind of what I've been waiting to see from Slav, right? Like going in, using his body, using his, and guys, I think I'm gonna try to start a new trend. Okay, here's the new label that I'm giving Slav that I haven't heard anybody give him yet. I'm trying to remember it. He's a power playmaker. I don't think we've ever used that expression before. I think what he is, he's not really just a power forward. He's a power playmaker. And that's what we saw last night. Using his body, winning the battle, and then using his soft hands and his great vision to kind of make plays happen for his teammates. So for me, he's the guy that stood out. Obscure, let's go with Jacky. Jacky, I think over the last couple games, obviously, Coach, you brought it up yesterday that you'd like to see them maybe play him a little bit more. Like, I think he's earned a couple more minutes. But the reason, like, to me, what I'm liking is that we're not seeing some of those, kind of mistakes that he was making. Like, there are certain times where certain guys were getting behind him. He was kind of like missing coverage or kind of not really picking up on guys. But I think low pro, like he didn't play a lot of minutes, but you're asking for obscure. So to me, not just for last game, but the last couple games, I think Jacky's played a nice, patient game. I think everybody, talks about wanting him to kind of like bring that extra intensity and that aggression to his game. So, but I think, once he gets his confidence with getting this basic elements of his game in place, now it's like building blocks, right? Like now you can start to add a little bit of meanness to kind of what he's doing. So I like that Jacky's kind of getting a little bit more trust from the coach, and he'll start to maybe incorporate some of those elements that we all love about Jacky, which is bringing the meanness. We had this big debate in the chat last night about Jacky. Like, I don't want him chasing to those hits. Like Martin saying, you want him to play the game that's in front of him, and when there's an opportunity to staple a guy, then you do it, right? But you don't go out of position to do it. I get your point, Coach, that maybe some points in the game when the momentum is shifting, maybe then you go out of your way to make something happen, but you have to be able to read the game, right? So those would be my guys. I think Jacky, very, very obscure, and you're 100% right. Mr. Primeau needs not only to come to the office, but he needs like a psychological therapist as well too, to kind of get things back in order, maybe.
Tap.
It's hard to dispute any of those, Marko. Those are good picks. I'll go with, in terms of stood out, I'm going to go with a player that I think just Sunday we took out to the cleaners, and that was Suzuki. And I think what he came back in this game, and he showed many aspects of what he's shown us in the past, and that included leadership. And he got two very critical goals within a less than a minute span. I think it was in the second period, or was it first? I can't remember now. First period, I think. And it sort of set the tone. And he was much more engaged and battling for the puck and back checking a little bit more than usual. So I'm going to give him the stood out award. The obscure, 100% I would go with Jacky as well. A lot of things, if you really focus your attention even away from the puck and what he's doing, I see that there's a lot of improvement in his game. The key is going to be to give him that time to sort of harness that over time. And I think we're going to see that aspect of his defensive game being magnified, and he's gonna live up to the expectations. But it's just a matter of time, and I think he's capable of it. So I'll give him the obscure. And you went with Matheson for the office, so you went with Primeau, which I can't disagree, but I'm going to throw Matheson in there as well, just because I didn't think he again had one of his better games overall.
That line did very well together, Sikorsky and Suzuki.
This next goal, Coach, is the one I was talking about. This is like, remember you showed that goal but then Suzuki starts to skate away, like to back check, right? Like he doesn't stop at the net. Like he really wanted to like, that's it. Like, remember we said like they had enough, Coach. I think like Suzuki, okay, I'm going to go back here. I don't want this to turn into like them coming back and rushing the puck. So even though it looks weird, I like that instinct from Suzuki. Like he's like, you know what, it'd be nice to get this hat trick, but I'm going to back check instead.
Here, what happening when Anderson go there, guys? What's just right there? When he face up by Montreal, but lose the puck behind the net. Battle with David Savard. Recovery by Alex Stock. Jack return puck to Soccer. Back on the right side. Recovery by they were right. Get the puck back to Dallin. Dallin to Peterka. Peterka's looking out. Far in front of tip and front of net and missed by Soccer. Recovery by Power. Go back inside and Montreal Canadiens attacking now. And now with the puck. Josh Anderson's coming out. Anderson. Hey!
I didn't see that live, Coach.
The
That's awesome.
intensity.
I
Yeah.
almost
Oh
said the
my
bad
God.
words. Like I was going to say the bad words right there. But
Oh
it
my
was
God.
a
I
slow
missed that.
motion, the copy I did, but
Oh my God. I
yeah.
missed
When you
that
took
live,
your
Coach. That
headphones
is,
off, I thought you had a heart attack there.
oh my God. That is hilarious. You need to clip that, Coach, and release that as a short. Like that's, I totally missed that in the live, the play by play. That is a all-time blooper for sure. That's awesome.
Here we go, guys. We did the shootout, everything like that. Lena soon we talk about him a little bit, so we're going to skip that one if you don't mind. We get it about that. But I think we want to talk about it was a great night of hockey. I think sometimes the Hall of Fame of any sport are the best night for me to listen to a speech. And yesterday was one from Jeremy Roenick. It was really the most touching for me for Roenick. A little bit got burned the last couple of years from the what happening on the NBC sport for Roenick. He was completely out of the hockey. You don't hear him anymore. But yesterday was also Shane Weber for the Montreal Canadiens. It was really a good start, a great conversation. Before we talk about Carey Price, guys, I want to hear from both of you what you think about Shea Weber speech yesterday and what Shea Weber did with the Montreal Canadiens. I think a lot of things we didn't hear a lot about Shea Weber. So I think is not a controversy captain. How I can say that, like maybe not
He was
recognized
quiet.
enough for what
Yeah.
Shea
He's a
Weber brings
quiet
for the
leader.
Montreal Canadiens. So I don't know if you
He's a
feel
very
about that one.
Yeah, he's a very quiet leader. He doesn't like to center the discussion and talk around himself. I mean, I thought his true colors came through when I think in the press conference after Tampa Bay won the Stanley Cup, and he was together with Carey Price, and Carey Price sort of put it on his own shoulders, and he immediately jumped in and said, "No, this is definitely not on you in any way, shape, or form. It was a team loss, and we gave all we could, and that's where we're at." But I thought he's most deserving of the Hall of Fame. If you look at his years, even when he was with Nashville, and then later on in Montreal, if it weren't for the injuries, I think he'd still be here today, playing and offering quite a bit of help on that back end of the defense. Like he's a classy guy. Is the only way I can put that. And I just wish him the best from here on forward.
Yeah, I didn't watch all the speeches. I did. I definitely tuned in to watch Shea Weber. What struck me is there is a one shot of even Nick Suzuki, who all of his ex teammates were there, by the way, in Toronto to support him, and they did a close up of Suzuki, and he looked like he was tearing up a little bit as he was watching
Yeah,
his former captain accept his induction into the Hall of Fame. And so, Coach, I think the word you're looking for Weber, the word I would use is polarizing. And really it is nothing to do with him, right? Just because so hard of a position for him to come in, being traded for Montreal's most popular player at that time. He's been pretty kind of vocal about it recently, about how he wasn't sure how he was going to be received, when he first got there. And he definitely kind of learned pretty quick that even though the fans loved, and I underline the word love, PK, they definitely, it's kind of like Slavkovsky. Remember how the fans at first were like, what? And then, okay. And then they started clapping. And then within 10 minutes, they're like, Slav, everybody got behind Slavkovsky pretty fast, even though they were absolutely shocked and nobody was expecting it. That shows you kind of Montreal fans, right? Like they, even though they might kind of not agree or kind of not really understand or support the original thing, they'll kind of get behind their team and get behind their players, right? So I think Weber felt that. I love the little joke that Weber had in there as well too, saying how he I guess had to thank David Poile too, for being in Montreal. It was a little bit of a shot, as you know, like him and David Poile hadn't spoken for years since that trade, and just recently had started talking again when they both learned that they were going to be inducted, right? So great for him. We keep hearing stories about how difficult he had it. Like especially for that 2021 Cup run, like when when you go back and watch those games, like we all wondered like why he wasn't shooting as much. Like he had like a plastic screw in his thumb and tore his groin against Vegas, and we know about his ankle. Like he can't even,
Ankles, yeah.
like, Jesus, man, like the guy's like a Frankenstein monster guy, right? Like he couldn't even get out of bed himself, and never once complained about it. Never told his, never missed practices. Like just what a machine, and what a guy dedicated to the team. And
Absolutely.
you just hope
And
that
it
some of that,
should be a great night Saturday night when they honor him
yeah,
at the Bell Center.
yeah, Habs fans will do it right. I have no doubt about that. So yeah, like you hope some of that is rubbed off on some of the guys that he played with, and I think we could use a little bit more of that in our lineup today, to be honest. So
For Shea Weber, like for me, it's like yeah, different player make an impact for different franchise of the history. Shea Weber is one of them for the Nashville Predator. Not like we know Shea Weber here, but Shea Weber was somewhat at the core at the beginning of the career of the NHL Predators. For many years over there, and it was shocking for the fans to see Shea Weber get traded by David Poile for what he bring on the table, and that's not the same way here in Montreal. The story about Shea Weber, guys, I don't know if you know that, but I think that Marko talk about this. Like he had like a knee problem and an ankle problem, and they would show up, guys, 3 hours before the game start every time, and he told them to the trainer, for the people around the team, to never mention this to the GM, to anybody, to hide that injury and sacrifice his body to be ready. Many of them said he should not play any game, but Weber don't want to complain. He want to prove to his teammate. This is a kind of captain, the more quiet time compared to her. I think he did when he showed up at Montreal, like usually. And this what happening is start with a Weber. Usually in the back, it was like the player would put their bag, their stuff inside the bag, and they carry on the bag under somewhere, and they let the trainer to pick up the bag and go to the boss, whatever it is. And with Weber, he said, no, 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 no. You guys, you go to carry on helping the trainer, and you trainer guys wait for the bag will be at the boss. And this is a kind of who is Shea Weber, where he's not a guy in front of the camera. He's not a guy who would be talking a lot. It would be more quiet. But this is the kind of leader you don't see, you don't hear a lot, but more involved, more really good inside the locker room to put everyone together. So we'll see. Honestly, very impressed for what Shea Weber bring for the Montreal Canadiens. And then the next question is about, okay, do you think Carey Price would be and who is going to be get right away next season or not?
Is this contract end next season? Is his contract end?
One more year.
One more year.
Would he not? How is he going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame while he still has a contract?
Happened with Shea Weber too. Shea Weber was not retired.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, why is that? How's that even possible?
So what we heard, and Renaud Lavoie explained this to us, I think it was Renaud, said the NHL make an exception for every players go on the long-term injury reserve. They know when they're never going to returning. And NHL, they give that extension to be available at that year. So yeah, is it 3 years? I think it is 3 or 5 years after to be that way. So that's the reason about that. The same thing, Marko, we have to questionable. Like Gary Bettman is already an Hall of Famer. He's still the commissioner of the NHL. Yesterday they beat Campbell instead of that one too. So he's really bit aware. Yeah. But a great point, Marko, you talk about this. But next year you're going to have Shara, you have Price, Mogini is not there yet. And Vincent D'Anfos is another one. They talk about this. But what do you think about Carey Price? Is this going to be in and out in next year? You expect him to be 18 for him or not?
I think he gets in, but I'm not sure he gets in next year, Coach. Did you see the guys that? So you got Chera, you got Getzlaff. Who are some of the other guys? Like it's a really impressive list.
Yeah, it was.
It's going to be hard to. There's hold on. There's Joe Thornton.
Yeah, Thornton.
Yeah.
And like there's another 2 guys, right? Like, and what's the maximum? There's 4 guys four people that go in every year.
I think 3 players, a builder,
I don't know
It's going
exactly
to be
the
hard.
rule about that one, but yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's
But
just 3.
they did make changes to the committee too. Like
Yeah.
Lanny McDonald is no longer the chairman, so Mike Gartner is now the chairman, and Jerome McGinley is now part of the Hall of Fame committee. So it should be interesting. But I think he'll make it, but it'll be tight for him to get in next year. It's a very very long list of good players.
Yeah.
Pierre Doris said Keith, Duncan Keith too.
Yeah, yeah, Duncan
Duncan
Keith. That's
Keith.
right.
That's
Thanks,
right.
Pierre,
Yeah.
for sharing with us.
Yeah,
About
And the
that,
Winnipeg Jets won tonight.
yep.
and
Uh,
The Senators shut out the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Big news in the the yesterday, since Monday, was on the say Georges Larac news. It was like the BPM protect a lot Larac yesterday. I watched every one of them, but look, um, at the end, there are 4 people: Ken Hughes, Martin Saint Louis, Gerard Gallant, and somebody else. They are the only one can tell us if they talk or not. And then Gerard Gallant said during the day, he never talked to the Montreal Canadiens. So I don't know how you feel about that. It's hopefully that's a learning for Georges Larac. And
Oh, he does. No, I watch. I never watch. I don't listen to them much, but I may, especially now I'm on vacation, so I had time to kill today. So I wanted to see what he said about what happened yesterday, and he wasn't like, he wasn't sorry that he did it. He was more like, "Hey guys, I'm not a reporter. My friend told me he saw him, so I wanted to just share it with you." But
if he's not a
as
reporter, what he is like, what
I'm a
is
radio host. I'm a radio host. I don't stand by. I don't have the same, kind of standards as a news reporter. Yes, I know that a reporter that you have to have at least like our friend Marko D'Amico, right? He also
Yeah.
had a similar scoop, but he waited until he had 2 people confirm it. Like that's how journalism works, right? You have to have 2 sources before you can
Sources.
come out and say something. So listen, like George Larac might not believe, and it's I don't want to get political, right? But it's same thing with like news, right? You have commentators and then you have news people. Commentators, they don't have to necessarily tell facts, like they just give their opinions. So I get there's a difference between a reporter and like an animator or somebody that is just kind of like there to entertain people. So George Larac, I understand he's not going to be held to the same standard as a news reporter because he's just a radio host, but at the same time you have to understand the impact of what you're doing. In this
Yeah.
case it's not as serious because it's not like it was kind of putting, like, let's say he put out a rumor that some player was like caught drunk somewhere or something like that, then it can negatively impact a player. Or if a player is getting traded and it's not true, that can also negatively impact someone. In this case, I still don't like it, but it's not like it had negative consequences on anybody involved, right? So it's a tough one. I don't like it, but at least it
Yeah.
didn't negative.
It's unfortunate, like you said. We see it all across media avenues across the states. It's not just one station or another. They're pretty much all like that, and that's why if you look at the credibility of media nowadays, it's
Yeah,
minimal, right? A lot of people
yeah.
are more into podcasts and getting information that route than anywhere else. But I still think he had a responsibility, to be honest with you, to double check any sources he had before he blatantly
No,
said that.
no.
But
It's his friend. He said it was just his friend
yeah,
that his
well,
friend told him that he
but,
saw it.
but then
why
yeah,
it's not like he got a picture for someone to see.
No, 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 no.
no,
So this is what he said today. So what he did is when his friend told him that he saw Gérard Gallant, he sent his friend a picture of Gérard Gallant to say, "Are you
that's
sure
right.
you saw this person?" It wasn't like his friend sent him a picture. He didn't have a picture of his friends. All his friends said, "Hey, I saw Gérard Gallant and Hughes and Martin
He got a
Saint Louis."
picture for his friend. He
No,
showed a pic.
no,
Yeah. Yesterday,
no,
Monday,
no.
he said, "Look, I showed a picture to Gonzo," and Gonzo said yes.
No, that's not what he said. I watched him today, coach. He showed the text to Gonzo saying, "Here, I want to show you my friend." Just so that nobody thinks I'm just inventing this out of nowhere. here's the text I got from my friend saying that he saw him, right? And then George Larac sent a picture of Gérard Galland to his friend to say, "You're sure this is the guy you saw?" And then he said yes. So that's what he claimed. Anyways, it is what it is.
When il fait ça par Montreal pour lose the puck down the net, battle with David Savard, recovered by Alex Stock, Jack return puck to soccer. Back on the right. Marco is right there. Hold on, Marco.
Fake news.
Hold on, Marco.
I was just gonna say,
Marco, you know who I am, right? You know, you know, coach, he tries sometimes to do things. Here we go, guys. Oh, maybe you're going to get that one. Marco, I'm sorry, you're going to disappear right there.
Il y a un de mes amis que je connais qui habite à Toronto. Lui et sa femme sont allés dans un café samedi. Et dans un café, ils ont vu 3 personnes. Ils ont vu Martin Saint-Louis, Kent Hughes et la 3e personne, Gérard Galland. Et quand il m'a appelé tout de suite sur le coup pour me dire ça, j'étais sûr que c'est vraiment Gérard Galland. Puis il m'a envoyé une photo que je t'ai montrée d'ailleurs, Gonzo, sur mon téléphone pour me montrer vraiment que c'était Gérard Galland.
Yeah, I've never heard that clip, but what I'm telling you is that today,
and coach is doing his own work.
No, but coach, if you go and watch what he said today, he said the complete opposite today. He said the absolute opposite.
No, Marco, I don't go again. It's just like I did that clip. I was supposed to make a video yesterday, and I jumped in on the Fleury, right? But it was not again you allowed. I just showed to you.
No. But it's he's basically contradicting himself, right? So, guys, the big lesson to take from here is that we can all learn is as people who consume media, we're all consumers of media. You have to understand the difference between news and commentators, opinion people, right?
Oh yeah, Marco, you nailed it on that one. Like this is really right, but I think Marco, if you are exactly what you just said, you shouldn't put on the Twitter on the Sunday night. You said I have a big news tomorrow at 12 o'clock or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like Nashville and Tennessee when nobody listens. This way is the capital of Toronto, Montreal. Marco, you just said little thing, it did turn around to be a big thing, right? So I think he missed on that one, and then it will be easy, Marco. It will be easy today. He said, look, I make a mistake. It's something I need to be careful. I have to be a little bit more. I apologize for the people thinking I was not doing this for the viewers or the clickbait, whatever they want to call it. It was just, I just make a mistake and that's it. It will be easy. He tried to go around the pot and he tried to get an explanation better. So I just feel like it that way.
Made it worse that way.
Talking about Gérard Galland, what do you think about that one?
Jay Woodcroft.
Everybody
this is news get out today on the social media, by the way. It's not me can bring that one, but Jay Woodcroft as assistant coach for the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, I heard that.
One thing I would say to you about that one, Marco Inartap, he's been 20 years as assistant coach in the NHL. This is a kind of role the coach, if you want to have experience. Well, he's been assistant coach for years, and before he got his opportunity right there.
You know where I stand with it, both guys. I think there should be a voice of experience there as well. Like you said, he's been around a long time. He knows the game inside out. It's not somebody that's going against the philosophy of Martin St. Louis. Obviously, Martin St. Louis is going to be dictating what he wants to do with the club and the way he wants to move them forward. It's just to have that backdrop, that individual that can offer, his opinion on things he's seen himself as he was going through the process, right? Given that Martin St. Louis does not have that same experience. So I think there's nothing wrong, whether it's Woodcroft or somebody else. I think it's something that can only benefit the team down the road.
I don't know if, to me, Jay Woodcroft, is it Woodcroft? Not Woodcraft, right? It's Woodcroft.
Woodcroft.
Yeah. I think he really wants to be a head coach. I'm not sure. Maybe he's willing to kind of take a step back and be an assistant coach again. But I would be surprised, right? Like he was a head coach. He's been finalist for a couple of other jobs. I think he was a finalist for the Ottawa job as well. So I would be surprised if he would be interested in being an assistant coach, but it's a good profile. Same profile of guy they should be looking at, I think.
Here we go, guys. The clash at the end of the show we do. And we have 5 clash today. Something they don't know the question. I should ask them. It would be better if someone said not at all or absolutely. But I'm the guy who can just split the results. So I think we'll be good about that. So the clash is all about absolutely or not at all. The people in the chat, you can participate on that one. Tonight, we have a special 5 questions for all of you. One is not like the last one is not about not at all, but it's a choice. But it reflects a little bit what the conversation we did tonight. The first one, guys, is about Lane Hudson. Win the counter. Absolute or not at all?
It's going to be tough. I think he'll definitely be in the top 3 votes. But I mean, we're seeing, Stankoven obviously is in that conversation. You have Michkov, and you have even a couple goalies that are in that mix as well. So I'm going to say it's so definitive when you say not at all, because it's not impossible, but I just don't think he's going to come short just a little bit. So I'll go with not at all.
Well, it's clear that Entertap is not a true Habs fan. Of course, absolutely, Lane Hudson is going to win the Calder.
After I sang his praises in my headline.
We all know, understand now. Entertap doesn't believe in Lane Hudson, so just like everybody thinks I love Dvorak. No. Entertap, you're on the record. You hate Lane Hudson, so we have that on the record now.
Coach, so you go with absolutely, Marko.
Absolutely.
So if you have a second pick, if it's not Hudson, who it would be?
It is Hudson.
I don't need a second pick, Coach. I don't need a second pick.
But just like it's not like to go against you, like we said to Entertap too. But if it's not Hudson, who it will be?
I have to go with probably Stankoven at this point. I think he has a really good opportunity just because he's playing with really good players in Dallas. So I think has a really good shot.
I go with absolutely if he continues to play that way. So when I said that, the number, the minute, and the way they use it, I think it will be at some point he's going to be on unit number 1, and he's going to get a little bit more points. He's going to be more.
Coach, you can't say absolutely, and then the next word is if.
No. Absolutely. I said absolutely. If he continues to be on that level about that, that's not absolutely, because I believe Anderson is going to continue to be there. You're
putting stipulations in there. That's not
my second pick. It will be Stankoven, by the way.
Me too.
Caulfield.
You can't say if.
Caulfield's look like will have 2 seasons in plus of 50 goals on his career in NHL.
Or as the Steve Dangle podcast would say, Caulfield. No, I'm going to say not at all. 50 goals for Mr. Caulfield. I think it's a lot to jump from 28 to 50.
No, not this season. During his career, 2 seasons in plus of 50 goals.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think if he gets it once, I think that would be historical for the Montreal Canadiens. And I know goal scoring is up in the NHL, but I just don't see him getting 2. I think he will get one day, but not at all. I don't think he'll get 2.
How many 50-goal scorers do we get on a yearly basis? Not many. It's very difficult. I'm going to say not at all. He'll come close on, maybe 3-4 seasons. He may even get 1, but I don't think he'll get more than 1.
Yeah.
I say absolutely, and I would predict 3 seasons of the 50 goal for Cole Caulfield during his career.
Oh.
And the key of this part is because going to be Demidov.
Okay, but Coach, would you say that
it would be exactly what happened with Kucherov at 1 joint with Stanko. Stanko's increasing number of goals. I see the same thing will happen with Cole Caulfield. One Demidov, a better player as Zuski over him. That would be.
You don't think a lot of those goals will be eaten up by Laney?
No, Laney will be gone.
I don't know.
If Caulfield scores 3 50-goal seasons, where does he rank all time as a Montreal Canadien?
Up
Over
there.
The Devils
Steve.
score a goal. I'm sorry about that. 3-1.
How many Montreal Canadiens have 350 goal seasons? Lafleur had how many? 5?
5.
Yeah. Stéphane Richer. Guy
He had
Lafleur.
2. He only had
He had
2.
2.
Steve Schott.
Steve
Schott
Schott
had
had 3.
Maurice Richard.
3.
How many
Maurice
did he
Richard,
have?
I think he had
How many?
4.
Yeah. So listen, like if he scores 350 goal seasons, like he's on the Mount Rushmore of all-time Montreal Canadiens goal scorers. So that'd be pretty incredible. It'd be nice to see it in my lifetime.
Absolutely. Piquet
Not at
Subban
all.
would be a Hall of Famer one day in our tap.
Not at all. No. Unfortunately not.
Maybe as a media person, but not as a player. So not at all.
Yeah, we're talking about
Maybe if he
players,
has
yeah.
maybe he'll have a really long media career, like as a builder or something like that. But I don't think he has the resume. He has 1 Norris Trophy, has 1 Stanley Cup final. He technically has a gold medal with Canada, but he didn't play, I don't think, on that team that much. So no, I don't think he has the resume. He doesn't even have 1,000 games. So no.
Yeah, the stats don't support.
Not enough year in NHL.
Yeah.
That's the same thing about that. So great about that point, guys. We have 2 more before we finish the show. We'll try to finish with a differential of 50 goals.
What was it last year? Do we remember how much it was last year?
43?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is predicting they'll go backwards. They'll regress even more.
Yeah.
No.
Not at all, Coach. They're going to turn it all around. Everything's going to turn around. No, they're going to be at a minus 30 goal differential. So it's going to be a 20 goal improvement. You heard it here first.
Not at all. Not at all. I don't think they go backwards at all. I think that
wait.
Uh-oh.
47 plus 22.
What?
99.
47
What
plus
do you
22. It's 69.
think? 69.
Goal
about-
They were
differential
minus 69
last year.
They're minus 69?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
278 to 347.
I
All
still
right.
don't think 50. No,
Then,
not at all.
okay, like that changes my answer. I think that makes more sense. So yeah, I'd say absolutely minus 50. I think that would be a good improvement if we can call a minus 50 goal differential good, but yeah.
In our tap.
Not at all. I'm still going to stick with that answer because I think their offense will be a little bit better this year. We're going to see some good results, especially as the season goes on. And defensively, I mean, they'll improve as time goes on. And there's repetition in what they're doing, and they feel comfortable. So I don't think negative 50 will be hit. It'll come close, but not at that level.
When the last time Toronto got shut out twice during the same season?
Well, yeah. Montreal was the first one to do it.
Yeah,
And I think
I just want to mention. Yeah, I just see that about that. So I would say to you, absolutely, that would be a minimum minus 60. It's going to be cold for the Montreal Canadiens. So expect that with the goaltender. I don't see that. I don't see any offensive more with Jake Evans at the second center. Now, we make a change possible, but I don't think so. So I go with that one. The last one, guys, is about, we just talked about the trophy Calder, and we just talked about Cole Caulfield. So my question is one of the 2 options, not at all, or absolutely. It's about who is going to get that this year? Caulfield, 50 goal, or Lane Hudson? Trophy. We have a super chat, ladies and gentlemen. Larry Nobody did it again for the Hockey Night Show. Super chat. Larry! Thanks so much, my friend Larry. Very kind of you to do that at the Hockey Nation show. And you did it for Marko and Artap because he bring a lot of great contents about this. So, in Artap, you're going to be the first one on that one. Caulfield reached 50 goals. Hudson won the Calder Trophy. Both of them is going to do it, or both of them not going to make it.
I think I don't think either one achieves it this year. I guess we know your answer, Marco's, because you said Hudson would get the Calder. So, but I don't think either one.
Well, honestly, the question is who have a better chance to reach that. Does it make sense?
Oh, that's different. That's different. Who has a better chance? I'll go with Hudson winning the Calder.
Agree. Yeah, I agree.
I said Caulfield got 50 goals 3 times during his career. It will be the first time this year for Cole Caulfield.
I hope so.
Right. That would
Where
be
was
awesome.
Marko? You said something good at the. You said a lot of things good, by the way, but at some point you said tonight if Montreal, or maybe yesterday, I don't know when, if Montreal have 50 goal Caulfield, if this guy have 1 point per game and something like that, who do you think the Montreal will be at the end of this on that one? Does it make sense?
Let me repeat it so everybody remembers how brilliant it was. So if at the beginning of the season, Coach, like when we were doing all of our prognostications and our predictions, right? So if I told you that Montreal would have number 15 in the NHL for PK, for power play, Caulfield was leading the NHL in goal scoring, Lane Hudson was top 2 in rookie scoring. Did you think, and also that Montreal was 3-2 against the Atlantic Division at this stage of the season? I think all of us would say, okay, so they're like in a playoff position. But the answer is they're actually last in the NHL. That shows you just how god awful their 5-on-5 play has been this year. For all those things to be good and like just above our expectation, it shows you just how terrible their 5-on-5 play has been. It's actually pretty amazing how the 5-on-5 play is dragging down all of the other things. It's pretty crazy.
Great point about that, Marko. One more question before we leave. We have 10:06 tonight. We try to get out. Don't forget, tomorrow night we're going to do the play-by-play of the Laval Rocket against the Rochester. And then Michael Devileno will return with us next Tuesday for the notebook because I think Laval play next week, Wednesday also. So he's going to be with Marko about that. So Michael Devileno, unfortunately tonight, he has to pick up his wife from the airport.
Can't wait to meet with Michael, man. I haven't seen Michael since... When was the last time we had Michael on? The summer?
At the beginning of the season.
Summer.
Like,
yeah.
Just right there at the beginning for the prediction of the season, something like that. So
yeah, that's going to be great to be on with.
All right, my last question for you guys, the people in the chat. You don't have to give me. You can give me one name per front of the categories, 2 or 3. But the question are: Montreal Canadiens who surpassed expectation, met expectation, and underperforming. About that, I know I did not ask that question earlier. I apologize, but I just want to share with you. And we have a goal for the Devils. Autry, Palat, and empty net score. And the Devils guys going to beat the Florida Panthers 4-1. The Devils have a good start. They go a little bit cold, and then they coming back very well. And now the people leave the building.
Florida, yeah. Well, don't forget, Coach, they were in Europe too, right? So they had to come back from the Czech Republic.
Very true.
And Coach, I see that this topic might have been inspired. I want to give a shout out to our friend Frank, who wrote a great article on the Habs on Hockey Now for Montreal Hockey Now, and he has his kind of like a tiered list of who's met expectations, underperformed. So if you don't already follow Frank on X, really encourage you to go do that. Go read his article. It's a very, very good article.
That's the reason we do that tonight. That's what we bring for that one. So congratulations for that. Frank come with us sometime in the book every 2-3 weeks.
It's I didn't agree with Frank's list, to be honest. Like I meant to message him. I'm going to have a little debate with him on X, I think, or maybe we can talk about it on the show next time. But I didn't agree with all Frank's list. Like I think he had Josh Anderson as underperforming. I think To
could
me,
be
like,
that met the expectation or something like that, or higher. You
yeah,
have one player right there.
yeah,
But hey, listen, sometime when you expose yourself to make a list like that, you're going to have a
for sure.
agree,
It's fun to
disagree. So
debate,
I have
right?
no problem with that part
Yeah,
of for sure.
yeah. So to me, I guess, encourage everybody to go read Frank's list. So surpass expectations. I guess I would say Gallagher would be my choice for
Mm.
surpassing expectations. Met expectations.
You can name
Uh,
two if you have two per category. If you have a Gallagher, maybe
I'll,
Caulfield, two, maybe whatever, you can mention that.
yeah, I'll leave some for Entertap, right? So I'll say, yeah. So for me, exceeding would be Gallagher. Meeting expectations. Ooh, not too many. I'll say Caulfield just because we expected him to score goals. Underperforming, let's say Samuel Montembeault. Those would be my guys.
Okay, so surpassed expectations. Gallagher was the first one that came to mind, but I'll throw Evans in that category as well. I think he's been solid pretty much all year, more so than we saw in previous years. Met expectations. I know he hasn't played to his level, but if you look at from a statistical point of view, Suzuki's been meeting the expectations of a point per game pretty much. So he's there from a statistical perspective in my eyes. And underperforming, oh boy, there's so many. Underperforming
He has so many. He's freezing in the right
Saturday,
now.
but I would even throw Matheson in that mix.
Which one enough?
Underperforming is Entertap's internet connection as well.
All right. Who surpassed expectation? I would say to you, Lane Hudson. If someone tell me Lane Hudson is going to play, I know I'm a big believer of Lane Hudson, guys, but nobody. If you tell me at the beginning of the season he's going to play an average of 23 minutes per game, I would say to you, it would not. I would not expect that. And the way he play, Marko, 10 pass, 10 point, it's just like over my expectation for Lane Hudson. So it would be that one. That expectation, you know, it's like you said, Cole Caulfield, but do you really expect Cole Caulfield 12 goals after 16 game?
I expect him to be, I expected him to score
and
goals,
lead the
right?
NHL, Marko. I don't think so. That's met my expectation for me. I don't say it's a bad choice because when you get met expectation, could be that you cannot put them higher, minus 14. That's why I would disagree with Frank about that one, about this. Honestly, I go with Josh Anderson.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
I think he should play the level he should play right there. And I don't think he met my expectation at the beginning of the season. Underperforming guys, like you said, many of them about that one over there for the Montreal Canadiens. You can go with in our type he pop up, but his camera is not in, so I don't know what's going on. For my underperforming, the goaltender, I think that's one of them. I think there will be the one underperforming there. The last couple of games, they were looking good, but I think he does not have a good start. Alex Newhook, another one, did not perform well most of the time. I think we expect more for some player like Sakaski, Suzuki. Mike Madison, I think, is one of them. I will go with Mike Madison on that one because I think whatever is not, he play a big role for the Montreal Canadiens. Whatever, he should not play that, that level of hockey for the Montreal. I think for me, I have to go with Mike Madison. Because goaltender is really also with the defensive zone coverage. Sometimes they give goal where they should make a save, but it did not happen. But I think for me, Marko, I have to go with Mike Madison on my underperforming. And
here's a tough one for you, Coach. Would you add Martin St. Louis to the list of underperforming?
No, I don't think so. I think Martin St. Louis, he deal with what he have in front of him, Marko.
I don't know, Coach, because remember we were very critical about the training camp, right? Martin St. Louis is responsible for setting the tone in the training camp and everything. And
But
I think
again,
we all
Marko of the training camp he is the head coach. I understand that, but is it not a decision of the team together? Like the management sit with Martin St. Louis, said, "Look, we have to be careful about that." But overall, I don't said is I don't give all the excuse for Martin St. Louis, but I think it come with the outcome, right? This year, I think you said the first one at the beginning of the year, right? And last year was all about development. Yeah, no about the outcome or the result. This year, it come with the progression and the result at some point. And yeah,
and
at that
evaluate.
moment, you can go that direction there. Yeah.
So I think I'm not going to be one of those people that want to fire Sandy Weir or think that it's all his fault.
No.
But I think he has his part of like he's partly responsible. He has part of the responsibility for how they started the season. Coach, if you're right, and it was a discussion with him and management, I would expect the coach is the one that should be taking the final decision on how to prepare the team. I would dare a management team to tell us like an experienced coach in the NHL, yeah, you know what, like we're afraid of injury, so we don't think that we want to dress the team tonight. A coach that knows how to prepare his team for a season, understands all that, would fight tooth and nail and say, guys, like I need to prepare my team. You want the team to be ready for the regular season? You're not going to tell me, like, if you're telling me how to prepare my team, then I'm in the wrong job here, right? So I again, I love St. Louis. I'm not like everybody throwing him under the bus thinking he should be fired, but I think he has his part of the responsibility. I think you have to put him as underperforming in this to start the season, to prepare the team, and for how things have played out so far, especially when it comes to he introduced a new concept to their D-zone coverage, which seemed to confuse a lot of players. So guys, I think you have to be honest, and he has his part of the responsibility.
By the way, one of my questions on my every night at 9:00 p.m. I do a quiz question on my channel, guys. You can look about that question, and today I talk about what it was the most underperforming for the Montreal Canadiens this year. What looked like the performance. I think other thing we don't talk a lot, guys, is like the Montreal Canadiens have only 3 goals for the defensemen. Mike Madison and Lennartson have 0 goals so far this year. This is not, this is a big problem. And I want to finish this. I know I like to get the, hold on. I like to do that.
Can you hear us at our topic? Is your internet working again?
Yeah, no, I can hear you. I zoomed out a couple of times.
So I'm going to punch with PLW right now. Just kidding. But PLW talk about Kovacevic tonight. 23-30 plus 2. Most defensemen tonight with the Stanley Cup winner. Let's go use that, your defenseman. Here's my question for that. Is it Kovacevic make Cayden Heller better? Or is it Cayden Heller make Kovacevic better? Because they have a great chemistry together. That reminds me a couple of times with Edmondson play with Petrie, make Petrie better, and David Savard sometimes it will make a defenseman better. So my question to you is like, is it Kovacevic play with Mike Madison? He will have the same result.
Entertop, go ahead.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't dislike Kovacevic. I thought, he brought some size to the game. He's right-handed defenseman, and his analytics weren't horrible. But you're absolutely right. A lot of times it depends on the pairings that are created, and the team that you have in front of you that comes back to help in defensive zones. So. It benefited him and it benefits the team collectively in New Jersey to have him there with his partner, and I think that's the difference. I don't think he has that same type of success if he were still in Montreal.
And our top, Marko.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's a very complex question. Like there's so many ways to think about that. Like I think it just has a lot to, like Enertap said, it has to do with chemistry, how they kind of complete each other. I think Kovacevic, again, we've talked about this ad nauseum. Like he's definitely valued by the team. You saw the documentary, the behind the scenes rebuild. You can see like the Habs, his teammates loved him when he was with Montreal, and you can just imagine he's having the same kind of impact there. So great guy in the locker room. He's playing big minutes for that team. He really helped them out, especially like those guys got elevated minutes when Hughes was out of the lineup at the beginning of the year and everything. So would he have the same impact playing with Matheson? I don't think so, because I think he's like Matheson is not as good as Siegenthaler is, right? So he's not as dependable. So I think if you ask me, would I choose Kovacevic and Siegenthaler as a pair over Matheson and Kovacevic? Yes, I would choose that pairing over Matheson, because I think he's a lot more stable as a defenseman. Mike Matheson, we love him. Like, he's a great skater. He's a good puck mover, but we kind of know what the holes in his game are. So I think he's probably going to perform better with a guy like that than somebody like Matheson, right? Because Matheson, you're going to have to cover for him more. So, and I think overall New Jersey's just a better team, coach. So I think it's natural that he's going to perform better in that environment.
Definitely about that, agree. I think sometimes the chemistry between two players play together on the pairing as a defenseman. You can see, I think, Eki just said, Ekholm make Bouchard better compared to Nurse make Bouchard that way. I think that's a great one about that. So I think at that moment, the Devils, they benefit of that trade so far. And, it is what it is at the end of the day. But we have to follow up. We beat the Devils looking great. They proved it tonight. They beat the Florida Panthers at home, by the way. And good performance. Max Strom between the pipe, by the way, for the Devils. And I have Max Strom on my team, on my fantasy hockey. But that's a subject for another time. We'll be back tonight at 7 o'clock for the Laval Rocket. Join me live talking about the pipeline of Montreal Canadiens. Tonight, it was another great notebook. Tuesday night. We'll go to do sometime Tuesday, sometime Wednesday, depend on the schedule. But I think it was great to see all of you. And, of course, a great performance of Enertap and Marko Larabi, because that's what they are. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. Thanks, both of you, to join me live for another ad notebook. We want to thank Larry Lavallee for the super chat tonight. We want to thank moderator Ron Kings with round 20 with Luciano tonight. We want to thank everybody join us live. It's sharing all you opinion about Sven thing. We have a big show tonight. We talk a lot about Sven, many things tonight. And then we want to thank, of course, all the people. Click on the likes. You did not do it before you leave the building. Please check in. And then we appreciate a lot for all the support we got every single time. If you are a member of the channel, please, thanks so much to be that person with the Hockey Nation. And that's conclude the show tonight. I can wait to see you next time. Until then, my friend, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only to dominate today, but find a way to dominate the second half. Or what? Marko?
You, of course, as Enertap says it so wisely, your 2024.
And one more thing before we leave. Prediction of the game Thursday night, Marko. Minnesota, Montreal.
So far, I'm the only one on track. I said 3 points. I predicted a win against Buffalo. I predicted a loss against Minnesota. And then it's going to be a tie in Columbus. So it's going to be a loss in Minnesota tomorrow.
I'm on track as well, Marko. I said 4 points. Next 2 points are coming next. We'll see.
In Minnesota? In Minnesota?
In Minnesota.
Whoa. Okay.
Right. I'm on the track also. I predict 2 points. So you're going to lose against Minnesota and you're going to lose against Columbus. But I believe they can beat the Columbus Saturday night. So I think at 4 points, it could be really possible.
Yeah, Columbus.
About that.
Not Minnesota.
You know
Columbus.
What? I feel confidence against Minnesota. It's going to be a tie, a close game against Minnesota.
It'll be a good game. Yeah.
That's my feeling about that one against Minnesota. They not play the same level they play at the beginning, but we'll see what the Montreal going to respond. Have an amazing, great night, everybody. Thanks, Marko, and after. I will see you Sunday night for the weekly report. Great night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Here we go, guys. The Hockey Nation Show, the Ab Nation want to tell you one more thing. We love you, friends. Have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow night for the Laval Rocket. Thanks, AK, RDP, PLW, Cash. And we have, of course, A2, Roy. And booyah!